Some games are good, some are great, and then there are the ones that genuinely feel like they couldn't have been better. Today, we're going through 20 of those games on Switch and Switch 2. No filler, no maybes. Let's go. Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 still feel like peak Mario even years later, and playing them now on modern hardware just reinforces why they're often called 10 out of 10 games. The first Galaxy stands out for its sense of wonder, constantly shifting gravity, and a surprisingly calm atmospheric tone that makes every level feel like part of a bigger journey. Then Galaxy 2 takes that foundation and sharpens it, focusing almost entirely on gameplay with tighter levels, faster pacing, and a steady stream of new ideas that never overstay their welcome. Together, they balance creativity and precision in a way few platformers manage. Even today, their level design feels fresh, their mechanics remain unique, and their pacing keeps you engaged from start to finish without filler. Whether you're revisiting or playing for the first time, they still set a benchmark for what 3D platformers can achieve. Pragmata is a brand new IP from Capcom that launched on Switch 2 in April 2026. You play as Hugh, an interplanetary technician sent to investigate a lunar research station that's gone dark. When he arrives, his crew is killed, the station's AI has gone rogue, and the only living thing he finds is Diana, a young android with the curiosity of a child and the ability to hack anything. The combat is built around this partnership. You aim Hugh's weapons while Diana simultaneously hacks enemies through a real-time grid puzzle, disabling armor and exposing weak points. You're controlling two things at once, and the loop never gets old. The story is straightforward. Get off the moon, figure out what happened. But the relationship between Hugh and Diana carries every scene. It runs great on Switch 2, and its 15-hour runtime is tight, inventive, and memorable. Metroid Prime Remastered is the 2002 GameCube classic, rebuilt from the ground up with modern visuals and dual-stick controls. You play as Samus Aran, a bounty hunter stranded on the planet Talon 4 after following space pirates to an ancient ruin site. The whole game is first-person exploration with almost no map markers. You navigate by observation, scanning the environment, reading logs left behind by a long-dead civilization, and noticing how spaces connect. The world is dense with atmosphere, and the gameplay is built around acquiring new abilities that open up previously unreachable areas. Combat is precise and satisfying. The remaster on Switch looks absolutely stunning. Environments that were impressive in 2002 are now jaw-dropping. If you've never played this before, you're in for one of the most atmospheric adventure games ever made. Hades 2 is the full release from Supergiant Games that landed on Switch and Switch 2 in September 2025 as a console exclusive. You play as Melinoe, princess of the underworld, who has been training under the witch Hecate with one goal: take down Kronos, the titan of time, who has imprisoned her father, Hades. Like the first game, it's a roguelike, where every run is a new attempt to push deeper, picking up boons from Olympian gods that modify your abilities. The twist is that Melinoe uses sorcery rather than brute force. Her moveset is different, the systems are deeper, and there are two separate paths to explore. The story unfolds through repeated attempts and character interactions, and the writing is exceptional across the board. It runs at 120 frames per second on Switch 2 and 60 frames per second on Switch. Everything the first game did, this one does more of and better.
Boisterous.
Tears of the Kingdom is the follow-up to Breath of the Wild, set in a Hyrule where ancient ruins are falling from the sky and a primal evil called Gloom is spreading from deep underground. Link gains a set of new abilities. Ultra Hand lets you grab and fuse objects together. Fuse lets you combine weapons and shields with materials. Ascend lets you pass through ceilings upward. And Recall rewinds the movement of any object in time. These abilities layer together in ways that give you near total freedom in how you approach every obstacle. Build a flying machine, fuse a boulder to a shield, ride a beam of light. The shrines, the temples, the sky islands, the depths, every part of this game is packed with things to discover. It runs on the original Switch and is technically a miracle given the hardware. The story goes deeper and darker than Breath of the Wild. Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles is the long-awaited remaster of the 1997 tactical RPG, released on Switch in September 2025, with updated visuals, full voice acting, and refined mechanics. The story follows Ramza Beyoulve, a noble's son caught in the political collapse of the Kingdom of Ivalice, as two powerful dukes go to war, and a darker, supernatural threat lurks beneath. Combat is turn-based strategy on 3D grid battlefields. Position units on terrain, manipulate the turn order, and manage a deep job system with over 20 classes. Abilities you learn carry across jobs, so a knight can cast spells, a mage can wear armor. The story is dense and political, treating its characters with real weight. Both an enhanced version with new polish and a classic version faithful to the original are included. One of the best tactical RPGs ever made, now playable anywhere. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is Kirby's first fully 3D mainline adventure, and it absolutely nails the transition. Kirby wakes up in a ruined theme park overrun by beasts and sets out to rescue the Waddle Dees being captured across this strange post-apocalyptic world. The core mechanic is copy abilities swallow enemies to take their powers, from sword to fire to ice to ranger. A new system called Mouthful Mode lets Kirby inhale large objects he can't fully swallow and take their shape, turning into a car, a vending machine, or a traffic cone to solve puzzles. The game has excellent co-op, tight level design, and a surprisingly rich story hiding underneath its cheerful surface. It's accessible to anyone, but has challenge rooms and hidden collectibles for players who want more. One of the cleanest, most joyful games on the Switch library. Trails in the Sky First Chapter is a full remake of the 2004 JRPG that launched one of gaming's most beloved RPG series. You play as Estelle Bright, a young woman working toward becoming a senior bracer, a member of a guild that handles everything from escort jobs to dangerous assignments, alongside her adoptive brother, Joshua. What starts as proving themselves on small jobs quietly escalates into a conspiracy threatening the entire kingdom of Liberl. The remake is built in full 3D with newly voiced English and Japanese dialogue. Combat lets you swap between traditional turn-based and real-time action at any time. Every NPC has dialogue that updates as you progress, and side quests are woven throughout the world with care. The world feels dense and lived in. It's a long game, and it ends on a cliffhanger, but everything it sets up makes you want to see where it goes.
Here we go!
Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is a retelling of the Midgar section of the original FF7, expanded into a full standalone game. Cloud Strife, a mercenary and former elite soldier, takes a job with eco-terrorist group Avalanche, fighting against Shinra Corporation, which is draining the planet's life energy. Combat is real-time action, with a tactical layer you build ATB gauge to use abilities, spells, and items mid-fight, swapping between party members with distinct styles. Each boss is a full production. The storytelling is cinematic, the characters are brilliantly realized, and the music is some of the best in gaming. Intergrade adds a bonus chapter starring Yuffie. On Switch 2, it looks and plays beautifully. It delivers a complete, satisfying experience, even if you've never touched the original game.
Should be easy. Like that. Nothing to it.
Blueprints is a mystery game set in an inherited mansion called Mount Holly. Every morning, you enter the mansion and navigate through procedurally generated rooms, trying to reach Room 46, the one room never shown on any map. The game is built around deduction. You draft rooms from a selection each time you open a door, manage limited steps, gather keys and resources, and learn the layout over repeated attempts. But the real game is piecing together the house's history through notes, letters, and objects scattered across the rooms. Nothing is random. The deeper you go, the more you realize the mysteries are layered and deliberate. It's the kind of game that rewards paying attention to everything. One of the most original puzzle games in years, and one that keeps pulling you back in just when you think you figured it out. Available on Switch 2. Donkey Kong Bananza is a Switch 2 exclusive and DK's first major 3D adventure. The setup is simple. A company called Voidco steals all the Banandium gems from the mines where DK is working, sending him plummeting underground. He meets Pauline, a girl with the power to sing open new paths, and together they punch their way toward the planet's core. The whole game is built around destruction. Nearly everything in the environment can be punched, torn, or smashed apart. You rip chunks of terrain out of the ground, create new paths, and find hidden areas by breaking through walls that look solid. DK also gains Bananza transformations, different animal forms with unique abilities, like gliding or superpowered punches. The level design is endlessly inventive, and the Switch 2 hardware is clearly what made the game possible. It's the most fun 3D platformer since Odyssey. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door stands out as one of those rare RPGs that still feels fresh no matter when you play it. Its turn-based combat stays engaging thanks to timed inputs and the unique stage system where an in-game audience reacts to every move, adding a layer of strategy and charm. Beyond battles, the game shines through its writing, with memorable characters, clever humor, and a story that keeps things interesting without losing its lighthearted tone. Each chapter introduces new settings and ideas, keeping the pacing consistent and never repetitive. The Switch version enhances the experience with updated visuals and smoother presentation, while staying faithful to what made it special. It's this balance of creativity, personality, and tight design that makes it feel like a true 10 out of 10, even compared to modern RPGs today. Fire Emblem Three Houses is a strategy RPG set in a military academy on the continent of Fodlan. You're a professor who chooses one of 3 student houses to teach the Black Eagles, Blue Lions, or Golden Deer, and spend the first half of the game building relationships, exploring the monastery, and training your students. Then, war breaks out, and the second half shifts everything. The characters you spent time with become enemies or allies depending on your house, and the choices you made carry weight. Combat is turn-based strategy on grid battlefields, and the unique mechanic here is battalions, units of soldiers that can be deployed to attack or guard in formation. The depth of the writing is remarkable. Every route reveals different truths. It's the kind of game where multiple full playthroughs feel necessary, and each one changes what you understand about the story.
Is that all? Fighting is what I do.
Super Mario Bros. Wonder is a 2D Mario game that throws out every convention the series has relied on since the SNES era. The core mechanic is the Wonder Flower. Collect one and the entire level transforms. Pipes start walking, music shifts, the perspective changes, enemies balloon to absurd sizes, and sometimes the whole game becomes something completely different. You never know what any given Wonder Flower is going to do. The badge system lets you equip passive abilities that change how your character moves. The level design is imaginative in a way that 2D Mario hasn't been in years. And the elephant transformation is immediately iconic. It supports full multiplayer. Every world has a different feel, and the game just never stops surprising you. It's the freshest thing Nintendo has done with 2D Mario in a long time, and it earns every bit of praise it gets. Super Mario Odyssey is a 3D platformer built around exploration and discovery. Bowser kidnaps Peach again, but this time he's planning a forced wedding across several strange kingdoms, each completely different in theme and design. Mario's partner is Cappy, a hat spirit who can be thrown to possess enemies, objects, and creatures. Possess a bullet bill to fly across a canyon. Hop into a frog to reach high platforms. Take control of a T-Rex. Each possession feels different, and the creativity in how they're used is constant. Moons are the collectible here, spread densely across each kingdom, and the post-game floods you with even more. The game never forces you to collect everything, but there's always a reason to explore every corner. It's endlessly satisfying and one of the most joyful games Nintendo has ever made. Pokémon Pokopia is a Switch 2 exclusive that launched in March 2026. You play as a Ditto that has transformed into a human shape and wakes up in a post-apocalyptic Kanto region, abandoned by its human population. The world is broken, drought, storms, ruined buildings, and your job is to restore it. You gather materials, craft furniture, build homes, grow food, and create environments that attract Pokémon back. The twist is that Pokémon teach Ditto their moves, which become tools. Water Gun to irrigate fields, Rock Smash to clear debris, Leafage to grow plants. Each Pokémon has preferences for habitat and food. The story reveals what happened to the humans and gets genuinely compelling. Developed with Omega Force, the Dragon Quest Builders team, it has exactly the depth and charm that pedigree suggests. Cyberpunk 2077 on Switch 2 is the complete package. The base game plus all DLC, including the Phantom Liberty expansion, and it runs better than anyone expected. You play as V, a mercenary in Night City, a neon-lit megalopolis run by corporations and consumed by crime. A botched heist leaves you with an experimental chip in your head, containing the consciousness of a legendary rocker boy named Johnny Silverhand. And now you're both sharing one body, with a time limit. The game is a first-person open-world RPG with deep character building. Hack enemies, stealth through facilities, go in guns blazing, or talk your way out. Night City is one of the most detailed game worlds ever built. Phantom Liberty adds a full spy thriller story that's among the best writing in the franchise. The Switch 2 version runs at 60 frames per second with DLSS and is genuinely the full experience, not a compromise.
Oh, I was worried I'd have to turn to farming. Yeah, sure hope you're here for me.
I believe I am. Are you...
Breath of the Wild redefined open-world design when it launched with the Switch in 2017, and it still holds up as one of the most influential games ever made. Hyrule has been destroyed by an ancient calamity, and Link wakes up with no memories, climbing a plateau that serves as the entire tutorial. From the moment you leave that plateau, you can go anywhere. Every rule the game teaches can be used to break its own systems. Climb any surface, glide across valleys, cook ingredients to craft meals, use physics to solve puzzles, defeat enemies with the environment. The shrines act as the dungeon system, spread across the map and each with a unique challenge. The freedom is total, and the world rewards curiosity in ways that feel personal to each player. You find your own path, solve problems your own way, and the game never once gets in your way. Resident Evil Requiem launched day and date on Switch 2 in February 2026. FBI analyst Grace Ashcroft is sent to investigate deaths tied to Raccoon City survivors, starting at a hotel where her own mother was murdered. Leon Kennedy is also on the scene, and it's not long before the dead are walking. The game splits between two perspectives. Grace's sections use first-person with scarce ammo and survival tension, while Leon's shift to third-person action. Each character has their own inventory and crafting system. The dual perspective structure keeps pacing sharp across the 12-hour campaign. The story is among the most lore-heavy in the franchise. On Switch 2, it runs at 60 frames per second handheld and 4K docked. Capcom pushed every trick they had to make it work, and it absolutely does. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is set in a world where two nations have been at war for generations, and life is measured in 10-year cycles. Soldiers live, fight, and die on schedule, with no questions asked. Noah and Mio are soldiers from opposing sides who discover a truth that breaks everything they've been told. The game is a massive open-world JRPG with real-time combat built around an art system where each character fills a role and can swap classes mid-adventure. Party members have over 20 classes to master, and interlink mechanics let pairs fuse into powerful Ouroboros forms. The world is stunning and enormous. The story is thematically rich and hits harder as it progresses. An expansion called Future Redeemed ties together the entire Xenoblade timeline. It's an 80 to 100-hour game that earns every minute. One of the greatest RPGs ever made. Every game on this list earns its spot. Whether you start at 20 or jump straight to number 1, any of these is time well spent. Drop your own 10 out of 10s in the comments. Thanks for watching.